Now let's start learning about Ionic CLI or the Ionic command line interface. Let's go ahead. These are the command lines which we'll be using over the period of videos, and as you can see, these are quite similar to what we used using Angular CLI. I'll open a new tab now, and there we'll see how we can create a new Ionic project. So in the terminal, first you need to remember that you need to install the Ionic CLI using npm install -g for global and then @ionic/CLI. Only after that you can use the Ionic keyword to start making project in Ionic. So as I have already done that, I'll use the Ionic keyword and then to create a project we need to start it. So I'll say Ionic, then start, then the name of the project. We can say the name of the project is demo. We'll hit enter now. Then the Ionic will ask you the framework which you want to choose. As we have learned about the Angular, we'll hit enter on the Angular only. Then the Ionic wants to know which starter template do we want to use. The tab starter template is quite famous for making the mobile applications, but you can also start with the blank page and create the entire everything on your own. But it's quite easy to understand the use cases of Ionic when we are in the tabs starter template, so I'll use that only. So I'll click enter. Then it asks for do we need to integrate the capacitor, which is nothing but at the end it will be used to convert our project into an application. Either it can be Android or the iOS application. So for now, let's just say yes, and I'll say Y and then click enter. So now the Ionic will take quite a bit of time to install everything and place everything into our demo folder and create the entire project. And when the installation is done and all the files are in place, the Ionic will ask you for creating free Ionic account. Right now we don't want it, so I'll just say N for no and hit enter. The new project has been created, and if I say ls, I can see this new demo folder is in this empty directory. Let's see what is inside this demo folder. So this is the new demo folder which the Ionic made on its own. Let's go inside. There are quite a few files. Then there's a source folder. Inside this, there's an app folder. It looks almost similar to Angular project. So let's open this folder in our code studio. So to open this folder, let's first go inside this demo folder using cd, then the name of the folder, demo, and here I'll open the code studio using code, then dot. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can clearly see what's going on the screen. Here we are inside that project folder. There are a lot of files, but as we know, we need not to worry about different files in the whole app. We'll be just concerned about our HTML file, CSS file, and the JS file, or you can say the TypeScript file. So let's go inside the source folder, and here we can see there's some index.html and there are some TS files. And let's go inside our app folder. There are some tab folder, and inside this tab folder there are some HTML file and CSS file and the TypeScript files. This looks similar to the components in Angular. Let's go back to our terminal, and now to run or to open our project, we need to run Ionic, then serve. If you just use Ionic and serve, it will open a new window, and there it will open the app, the demo app it has made. But I don't want to use, uh, I don't want that it opens directly. That's why I'll use a new switch, which by saying -b. Now it will not open a new window, but it will start serving our application. So I'll hit enter. It takes a bit of time to compile everything, and then it will give us the URL, which will be a local host at port 8100. And then if we go to that location, we'll see our demo app, which the Ionic has made for us. So as you can see, the deployment server running is here, and we can see there's a location which is localhost 8100 port. Let's just copy this link and I'll open it in a new browser. So this is the new app which the Ionic made. There are some buttons down below. As we click them, it takes us to the new page. And at the same time, this nav bar, the text there is also changing. This looks quite a good app. Because we are making an application for the mobile phone, let's just resize our window to the size of the phone. It should be like this much. So this looks like a good app now. It's just a demo app which Ionic made. It's just a template and it looks quite good. My app is in the black color, although the original app will be in white because the OS is forcing it to do it in the dark mode. That's why it's automatically converting into the dark mode app. This will happen same if you have activated the dark mode in your phone and then install the app in your phone. So uh, originally this thing was in white background, but because of dark mode, it automatically converted it into the dark mode settings. So this is the demo app. Let's go back to our command line interface slide. There we can see the other command is Ionic generate page, and then we give the page name. And the other commands are Ionic generate component, and then we give the component name, and another one is Ionic generate service, and then we give the services name. We know that the components are the part of the web page which we want to dynamically change. This is similar to what we had in Angular. And the services are also similar to what we had in Angular. Just that we changed the ng keyword to Ionic keyword. But these pages are the new thing in Ionic. We didn't had any page feature in the Angular project. So let's know more about this Ionic page. So let's talk about Ionic pages. Let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. And here, if you can see, we have some folders inside our app folder, which is inside our project. We have these tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, and one tab folder. This looks like where we had components in Angular. These are the folders which had components, the first component, the second component, and there was one parent component which was hosting all the apps, all the components in just one page. Let's look at this app component.html file. We can see we have some iron router outlet. It's similar to the Angular's router outlet, which does only one job of showing the component, where now the iron router outlet will just show the page currently we want to visit. So these tabs are nothing but these are the pages. Let's see what is inside these tabs. So now we have more files as compared to what we had in components in Angular. So here you can see we have the HTML file. The SCSS is nothing but a CSS file. The spec.ts file, which we know is for testing, we don't mind that. And the tab page.ts file is something new. We have this tab1 module.ts file, which we know is for the TS code. And there is one more tab1 routing.module.ts. These two files are the new files, the page.ts file and the routing module.ts file. So earlier we used to write code in Angular in the module.ts file of that component, the component.ts file. Now, because this is a page, we'll write the logic, the code and the TypeScript in this page.ts file. This is the class in which we'll write our code. These are the properties. This is the place where we will define all the properties which we want and all the methods which we want for this particular tab, or you can say for this particular page. So page is something like one section of the app which you see. Like for example, when you go to some new app, we can say WhatsApp. So first thing which the WhatsApp shows is for you to log in. It might ask for your phone number, and then the first screen which we see is asking for that phone number. So that screen is the first page. And when you log in and you give the OTP, and the second screen might be that OTP page. And similarly, when you log in more, there are several screens, and like the content which is being displayed at that time uh, is only defined within that screen, and you can go forward and backward. So this is something like one page. So these tabs are nothing but are the pages. So all the code, all the logic which we want to write in the TypeScript will go inside this pages.ts file. And what is this routing file is for? So earlier we used to have routes for the components in Angular. Uh, but now we can have, you can imagine it as a sub routes. So we can have different even the components or different pages inside a particular page. So we can have a sub routing. That's why we have this routing inside that particular page. We'll know more about routing later part of the video. So these are the pages. Similarly, we have tab 2 page and the tab 3 page. And this tabs is also the page. Let's look into this. Let's open this page HTML file. We can see this is the place where the icons were being displayed. So let's go back to our app. As we can see, we have these icons, triangle, circle, square, and this is the place where the triangle, ellipse, and the square are being called. So this HTML should be the primary app which is just being used, or you can say this is just the primary page which is being used to show us the content inside this, and these content are nothing but are different pages. So when we click on these buttons, they just show us the different pages. And uh, and in this tabs.routing.module.ts file, we can see this. There is some logic written here for every link. We can see it saying for tabs, then you can go some further URL at tab/tab1, tab2, tab3. If you look into the uh, project here, when we go on to this tab1, the URL changes here to tab1. When we go to tab2, the URL changes to tab2 here. So this is the sub routing inside a particular page is being done here. We'll know how we can perform all of this later part of the video. Right now, we just need to know what is the page and how we are actually using a page.